And we're live! Good morning, everyone. This is episode 215. I actually checked in advance this time, so I get it right. Today is whatever today is. It's late July or something. Our guests today are Charlie and Alex, both of whom you have seen before on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just retweet that, Alex, and I'll tweet the actual podcast as well. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. In theory, this is going to be a shorter show because our semi-tentative plan is to record the next spoiler cast this weekend. If you happen to know someone who knows a lot about Star Wars lore, SWTOR lore specifically, please get in touch. Because while we've got a excellent core panel of people, one more wouldn't hurt at all. Alright. Where's tweeting that? Tweeting Charlie's because I like spamming our followers. And alright, let's just do that. In our own. Actually, well, it'd be redundant to tweet out, wouldn't it, Charlie? Given you've given the link and everything. Oh, screw it. We'll go with that. So just retweet Charlie's, Chill, if you want to tweet anything.
Okay, let me grab that.
Why not? Spam. All right. Anything else? Or are we ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay. Everyone is recording. We checked that already.
Stupid cat. You guys can do it. The next room.
That's all right. I can always cut it out. Do you want to isolate the cat in a separate environment?
I have done that, but that separate environment is just as echoey as this one, so...
Oh, yeah. All right.
It's not a very echo-friendly house. It's got lots of weird angles.
Yeah. Well, once you got some furniture in there, or a lot
Okay.
more furniture. My place is still echoey. We moved in a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. All right.
Yep. I need 1 second. It's
Okay. Take your
having
time.
me redo my password.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'm just going to check out that tip that Police mentioned so that I can just confirm. So I'm swapping characters. So what Police said was if you actually leave your stronghold, now the default exit on the fleet, if you exit to fleet, is now the where you fleet pass in rather than in the Dromancast / Coruscant passes. So let's give it a shot. That is because and you can actually quick travel from there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is let's see. Exiting area. Exit to fleet. Geek podcast. Chill. Did you mess up my formatting? What are you doing?
No, it's spelled like that.
Whoops. So now I'm messing up Alex's formatting.
It's complicated.
There we go.
I've got to explain that someday.
All good.
All right.
We'll know in a second. Hang on, Chill. Just hang on. Let me just load into the fleet. It's taking a god-awful amount of time.
Yeah.
He is correct. Oh, that is fantastic. All right, let me exit the game. All right, ready to roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. You'll recognize its foul stench when you're brought on board. This is episode 215, being recorded on Wednesday, July 22nd, 2015. I'm your host, Chill. Okay, let's try that again. Where did that come from? I'm your host, Chill. That was a spoonerism, actually. That was mixing two words. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. And our guests today are Charlie Kranitoko and Alex from the Geek Podcast. So, Charlie, what you been up to?
Well, 3.3 obviously came out, and there's a lot of stuff that came out. Obviously, the pack was actually before 3.3, so it was obviously added in 3.2, and they said they were going to release it before because obviously there's delays and all that, so they released it before. But yeah, bought that, got some nice stuff, some really nice stuff, made the video, got it up in like hours after I had, edited the video, and yeah, so that's up now. I did say Wednesday, and even though it's kind of like Thursday for me, I still sort of got it up just in time, just before the show. Hey. So, yeah, got some nice stuff in there. Spoiler alert, I did get the Shea Vizsla statue. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Because I've obviously, we got the Yavin 4 Stronghold, and when you just sort of walk into the very first, what's it called? What do you call it? The temple. You just see her just standing there, and it's just so beautiful. It is gorgeous. Just seeing her stand there. So yes, I've got the link in the show notes for the pack video. I finished the Ilum storyline on my Jedi Shadow, and I can finally start the Republic side McCab. And as shocking as it will sound, I have not done that yet.
That's
ever.
outrageous.
I
What?
know. Ever. Call me a Star Wars fan. I know. Is it better than the Empire side, or is it just as
No,
good?
no, actually.
No. Oh, joy.
It's different.
Right.
Actually, you'll get to see the other side of the story. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the Republic is kind of earlier, but so you already kind of have a spoiler.
You really should do the Republic side first, because on the Empire
Ideally.
side you find out what's really going on.
Right.
So you already know.
Wow. That was a bad mistake for me then. And later on this weekend, I plan to record my very first PvP episode, like I said in a couple of shows back when I said I was going to make a PvP series. And I did like a poll where people voted what classes I should play. And my Empire DPS class is going to be a mercenary, which got just a few votes more than, I think, the Sith Assassin. And my healing class, because I was going to go for a PvP class for DPS and healing, and the healing one is going to be a Jedi Sage. So, and I'll be alternating between the two, so that should be interesting. But I was thinking about just leveling up via PvP, but I'm thinking to myself, that might take quite a while because it is PvP.
Yeah.
But that should be fun. That should be fun.
Well, I have doubled the XP, so it won't take quite as long as it would have otherwise.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
That's my week.
All right.
Chill.
Great. And Alex, how about your week? Actually, it's been a little while since you've been here, so go ahead and start us off with what you've been doing in game recently. But then I understand you have some other good stuff for us as to what else you've been doing.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I haven't really been in-game that much recently, but when I do get in-game, I finally got my Sith Assassin to 60, and my Sith Warrior to 60, and now it's Zios. And I've been wondering, is Zios necessary for Coffee? Do I have to do Zios, or is it like Oricon, where I can just basically skip it? So,
That is a fantastic question. We don't know. But it's a really good question. I would guess you do actually have to complete it, just like you couldn't start Zios unless you had completed the other stuff. Yeah, finish Shadow of Rhythm specifically.
Okay, well, then I guess I've got more of that to do, which will be fun. But
It's only an hour or so. Don't worry about it. You can blow through it.
yeah, I realized that the first time I did it, I was like, is that it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I also started getting my mercenary through the story. Basically, I just want to get everyone to 60 so I can really dive into Coffee like properly. But yeah, that will be a fun journey until October. So I've got time, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's really it for in-game. But out of game, I've really had an exciting past few weeks, which has been basically the best few weeks I could have ever hoped for. If you don't know, I went to America for San Diego Comic-Con, and so I basically dragged my whole family along because they're all like can we go like see a sports game or something? And I'm like, no, let's go to this huge nerdy convention. This is what I want to do. And so basically, if you don't know how Comic-Con works, there's a giant exhibit hall where there's basically all sorts of little things, and you get lots of cool exclusives like I did. I got some sweet little bobbleheads and figurines.
Nice.
But there are also the big panels, and I got to see, I think, maybe 5 panels, but the biggest one was the Star Wars The Force Awakens panel, which I only managed to get in like a minute before it started. I queued for only 6 hours, really. I say only because people have been queuing 48 hours specifically for that panel. J.J. Abrams had actually bought them donuts, just like how he had bought everyone pizza at Star Wars Celebration. Sadly, I didn't get any of those donuts, but oh well. So I basically queued for 6 hours. I read the new Star Wars book, Lords of the Sith, start to finish in that queue, just because I was really bored.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And when they started letting people in to get into the queue, it cut basically 8 people in front of me, so they said we can't let anyone else in. But then we heard over the radio 9 more people, and I was counting. I was like, and then I was number 9. I told the Comic-Con dude, leave my mother, let me get in, please. I've traveled all the way across the world for this. She wasn't.
Was she queuing with you the whole time?
Yeah, all 6 hours.
Oh no!
But like he was like, no, we can let her in. So they did let her in, luckily for her. And yeah, we got in and basically just started, and it was really incredible because they had everyone there: J.J. Abrams, John Boyega, Kathleen Kennedy, Daisy Ridley, the list goes on. They even had Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford. They had everyone there. And then they took everyone inside the Hall H, the big hall, to a live Star Wars concert. And that was incredible. They gave us free lightsabers. Not really like, the high quality lightsabers, but a nice one to wave around at the concert. There was fireworks, and it was really, really incredible. And I don't think I'll ever forget that because it was just amazing.
That is cool.
Yeah, and then I went to the cantina the next day, and it was my first SWTOR event. Like, it was the first cantina I've ever been to, and so if you didn't know how it works, there was like a meet and greet earlier, the Sacrifice trailer panel, and then there was a giant meetup at the end, at a few hours later. So I managed to get in for one of the meet and greets and one of the story panels. Sadly, during the meet and greet, I didn't get to talk to anyone because I was busy queuing to try and get the 30-day subscription and cartel coins because free stuff is nice. And basically, as soon as I got there and typed my information and they put the code in, they said, "Okay, meet and greet's over. Everyone get out."
Oh wow!
While I was in the queue, actually, they also showed the Sacrifice panel, and that was basically just a panel about the Sacrifice trailer. It wasn't much story. It was just about how they made the trailer and the process of what it goes into a blur trailer. And it was really incredible seeing some of this concept art. It was really beautiful concept art, but it was also very interesting to hear how they would go through many different designs. The twins in the trailer, they have these lightsabers, right? And originally those lightsabers were going to extend into pikes like the Zakul Knights have. They were going to fight with those, but they eventually had to cut that out. And I'm sure all of you have heard of the Malgus thing that was there.
Right.
Who hasn't?
A cut of the trailer where Malgus has walked in on Carbonite. And while everyone else was cheering, while I was clapping and cheering at the same time, I was still wondering, didn't we push him down like a giant chef, just like the Empire and the Emperor?
Yep.
We did indeed.
Yeah, how did he survive that? But I guess you don't really have to be alive to be in Carbonite.
To be in Carbonite, right.
But otherwise, why put someone in Carbonite? And we did see the life support indicators on the side of it, so he's alive.
He's alive. But
I've always had a question about the Force. Could you use the Force to lift yourself up?
As in fly. That has been done in the EU, in the novels. Don't believe we've ever seen it.
It's been done in the Star Wars The Old Republic novels, not to fly quite, but to slow falls. basically.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah, maybe
there's
that.
like one of them in one of them a Jedi, she takes a smuggler and they have to escape from a crashing spaceship in atmosphere, and they basically fall all the way from the top of from like stratospheric heights, and then survive basically by using the Force. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they both get injured. It doesn't go exactly very smoothly.
But do they
So
survive?
I think they did, and they only lightly injured. So I think the implication was that real flight was not really going to happen, because otherwise she would have just done that.
Yeah. The flying Sith would be terrifying. I would not like to see Malgus fly at me. Yeah, so basically, there were a few questions about Malgus that people had, including me, like, how is he alive? Why did he cut it? Like, everyone just wanted to know mostly about Malgus, but I did ask a question, and I basically asked, how is Malgus still alive? And they said, we're not going to tell you anything. And
Right.
they didn't tell us anything. They just said, we're just going to leave it ambiguous, basically. But yeah, so I went out then, had dinner, returned for the big Q&A meet and greet thing. They did a prize giving out. I didn't get anything, not even a T-shirt, but oh well. I still have the experience. And then they did the Q&A, and for me, the best part of the Q&A was someone talked about the design, the outfit designer, and said, similar to the way we can have costumes, can we have PvP and PvE gear and
Switch outs, yeah.
Yeah, when they said that, like, it was really funny that the developers were like, oh, that's an interesting idea, as if they'd never considered it.
What?
Yeah, and like they're
That's
like,
ridiculous.
you guys think that would be a good idea? Overwhelming cheers from the audience, like, yes. And then when the guy walked down the queue, like when the guy who asked the question walked down the queue, everyone's like, congratulations, man! I think you made a real change to the game. You've really done it, and that was probably one of the best parts.
So did they actually give an answer? Did they actually say like?
They basically said, we'll consider it. They didn't say yes or no or when.
Okay.
They said, that's an interesting idea. I'll definitely talk it over with the design team or whatever.
Something about that sarcastic way that they
Yeah,
phrased
I
it
was
almost
thinking
makes
the
me
same
think
thing.
that it's kind of already in process.
I
Yeah.
hope so, because that would be great. Because I
At
hate,
last.
like,
Yeah.
someone was talking to me and said, that's an extra 12 spots in my inventory. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
It would be great to get rid of
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. But I hope they don't, like, copy it. Like, they make sure that you can change weapons, too, and, like,
Yep.
implants and stuff like that. They don't just make it armor.
Yep.
But,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So then when the developers eventually dispersed into the crowd and everyone just went into drunk conversation about the game, about Star Wars and stuff, I tried to do some recordings, but it was so loud in there.
Yeah,
Like, when I
that
listened back
tends.
to the recordings, I could barely hear myself. So it's going to be interesting when I eventually edit that down.
You might almost have to like transcribe it rather than edit it.
Yeah.
It'll be, yeah.
Do you remember any questions or answers that you asked the developers?
Yeah, I do. The only developer I could really get anywhere close to was Charles Boyd, the lead writer, and honestly, he's one of the most fun guys I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. He's really, really funny, and it's really just incredible to see how they do to hear how they do all the writing and stuff, and what inspirations they take and stuff. But I managed to ask him a few questions. I asked him when the first in-game gameplay trailer for Coffee would be released, and he said Gamescom. So
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good news.
yeah,
That's
so that's
good to know.
something I found out. I also asked him what it was like to write such a huge story. I wrote a trailer there, but anyway, what a huge story, and how it was making sure everything tied in, and linking it back to stuff in McKeb even, and Yavin 4 and stuff like that. And he said it was crazy. He said it was madness, I quote. He said it a few times. And he said it was probably one of the hardest things he's had to write, but also one of the more enjoyable things he's ever done.
That's cool.
then that's when I tried to ask more questions, but I could not hear, like I could not record with them, so I decided to give up on recording and just asked him like with the rest of the guys who were there. And someone asked whether Vitiate and Xyos would tie into the story. He said he didn't want to share anything, but in a way that basically confirmed yes. He's like, I don't want to share anything, but, and then he left it at that.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that Vitiate will be coming back. And I heard someone ask something about Kephis, which is obligatory, and they answered that it was our enthusiasm for Kephis that kept him coming back. So it's our fault.
Oh no.
That's funny.
And
Well, at some point it becomes. At some point, it's like a running joke. It's like it stops being funny, and then it starts being funny again. So, like the last time you might have been sick of Kevis, but then seeing him again, it's like, oh, hey, it's Lizard Boy again. Hey, buddy.
yeah.
Oh, I see you got a new robot leg. Hey, good one there.
Or the son of Kephis.
Ooh.
There we go. Yeah, the
Kephis,
sequel.
the next
sequel
generation.
territory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Velocicephus.
Yeah, that was particularly funny because my dad approached me later and asked, Alex, what's a Kephis? And I felt bad because I had to drag him along, and I had to explain stuff like Malgus and Kephis to him and what Xyos was. And yeah, it was not his place to be. And eventually he just ended up sitting in a corner on his phone because whenever someone approached him, it'd always be, what server are you on? What server are you on? What characters do you play? And, yeah.
It's like asking what's your major when you're in college. You meet someone, you always ask what's your major.
Yeah.
So.
And that was basically that. And then someone asked a question about what Charles Boyd preferred, the prequels or the originals of the actual Star Wars film. And then somehow I got sucked into that conversation. And 2 hours later, the thing was over, and I had to leave.
Wow.
I'm really glad. The people
That's
there
cool.
were so nice, and
Yeah.
I got to talk to quite a lot of people. Like a guy I had talked to a few days back at Comic-Con. Like I just talked to him about the panels I was going to. He showed up at the Star Wars panel, and I was like, "Are you that dude I was talking to the other day?" He's like, "Are you the dude I was talking to the other day? What server are you on?" And it's just such a friendly environment. If you ever get the chance to go to a cantina, do it. It's the best thing ever.
That's
really.
cool.
Yeah.
That was basically that. And then I've returned to Singapore now with all my loot and memories, and now
cool.
it's back to bounty hunting. Yay.
Yep.
Getting ready for coffee.
Yep.
Yes.
And we see your nice bobblehead collection pictures on the show notes, so that's fun.
Yeah, they're really
And I
nice.
imagine those will be fairly rare, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the sort of thing that they only give out at shows, and you
Yeah.
can't just buy them at a Toys R Us.
I've kept the boxes. I unpacked them because the boxes were a bit damaged, but on the boxes you can see it says limited edition SVCC 2015 figures.
Awesome.
You can't really see like a Doctor Who figure is covering up. Get away, Doctor Who. There's a golden C-3PO in the background. That's
Okay, yeah. Fun.
But, yeah, that was basically the best experience I have ever had in my entire life.
Excellent.
far.
Well, congratulations. Yeah.
And that's 9 weeks. Excellent.
Excellent. All right, Tio, how about your week?
Well, there's no way I can follow that, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll just mention firstly that Ari found a tweet from Charles Boyd that pretty much confirms exactly what Alex was saying. This is back in June. He actually said that we will find out what happened to Vitiate. But it sounds like maybe he is coming back. Anyway, in my own personal week, I'll talk about raiding. We did raid both days with the full team for the most part. And no actual progress beyond we took down the 4 that we can do in hard mode.
Yeah.
Malafar, Sword Squadron, Sparky, and Bulo. All of them, I don't think Bulo was quite a one-shot this week. It'd take us a couple of goes,
It's like
but
a
anyway.
3-shot, yeah.
Yeah,
It's still
so we
pretty
decided-
pretty good.
Yeah, and we decided to focus on Underlurker in Temple Sacrifice.
Right.
And yeah, we beat our head against that for a while. It's a very simple fight, very simple. And once you've got the mechanics down, it's rinse and repeat. As mentioned last week, you kill the lurklings, the slow that's applied to the entire group is removed, and everything becomes pretty much like story mode at that point. But the trick is killing the actual lurklings and being able to burst them down. So Turgal, my co-tank, switched to a ranged DPS. So we had 5 DPS, 2 healers, and myself as the only tank. And that was nearly enough to ensure they died every time. We allocated people to this specific lurklings because they always pop up in the same locations. But with about an hour or so left to go, what we decided to do was get Turg some better gear. So we just did a quick story mode run through Temple of Sacrifice just to get him some set pieces. I think he ended up with 4 pieces out of that and the main hand. So
so we could truly single tank it essentially and have a full extra DPSer.
Yeah, his gear wasn't too bad on his Sage.
No, not bad.
Yeah, anyway, but it could have been better, and so now it is. This week, hopefully we will progress, and then it's on to talk, assuming we get Underlurker down. Other than that, I did play my sniper some more, playing through Taris at the moment, Empire side. And, yep, since I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, it's taking a long time, but that's the way I prefer, so enjoying it while I can, and before coffee takes it away from me. Anyway, that's my week.
Well,
on to you, Chill.
Right. It'll at least take it away from you in time, if nothing else, so... All right. First, a shout out to the chat rooms. Let's see who we got here. Gosh. Cipianita, Dekion, Fionha, Gahana, Jedi Joe 56, Katiera, Sukaiberu, AC90, Berryman, Balazar, Blacklock, Beware 2, Darth Brundlefly, Force Chuckle, Gas Guy, Helion, Kranatoko is here, Master Jedi, Random Name, Palace, Rasrax, Rivahatu, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Squishy, Trig is here, and in the Twitch chat room, it's your average nerdy gamer is having a fun time, just chatting away. So, hello everyone. All right, this week I worked on leveling my old Shadow main, and she, of course, used to tank, now DPSs in the middle tree. The sneaky infiltration. She's now up to the Revan fight on Yavin, but because I didn't do the 4 flashpoints first, she's actually only like level 58, so that I'll be doing leveling afterwards, probably some dailies, probably some PvP, because I think that'll be more fun to do, especially on stream. I actually did all of this on stream, and the last stream I actually set up my webcam, which is something that some people had been requesting. And it felt weird, and the reason is I've sort of done the webcam thing here on the show, on the live show, and so that's one thing. But when I'm actually gaming, it's weird to know that I'm being watched without actually seeing myself or anyone else. It's kind of bizarre, so it felt a little weird at first, but I'm sure I'll get used to it eventually. And yeah, so that's going fine. And this week I do hope. I don't see why I can't get her to 60. There's absolutely no reason I don't think why I can't do that. So looking forward to that, and yeah, and I'll be streaming that undoubtedly. So good enough. Let's get on to the tip of the week. We've got 2 of them this time. First one is from Dekion. Here's a great tip to use while you're leveling alts during 12 times XP. Only running class missions. I wouldn't advise doing this unless you've already enjoyed the story. Hold on to your class mission turn-ins between levels 1 and 30. You'll level at least 3 levels each time. Between 31 and 40, it's usually 2 levels, and from 41 to 50, it'll gain you a level. From 51 to 55, it gets tougher, but since you'll probably still be on Voss or Corellia by the time you're 50, it makes those missions easier. So, okay, so hold on. So,
you can only have 3 missions, can't you?
You can only hold on to so many, yeah. Before it tells you can't do any more. Remember to pop a minor XP boost right before you turn them in for the additional 25% XP. Doing it this way, you'll receive more XP for enemies, since you stay at their level longer, and you gain more XP for the class turn-ins, since you're completing them at a lower level. So I guess that makes sense. And an added advantage is gearing. You'll only have to gear every 6 to 8 levels, since you should be gearing for the level of the opponents rather than your level. It will also save time on hunting down a trainer, since you'll train 3 levels at a time. Thanks,
So basically, delay leveling as long as possible, so you level in big chunks.
Right. So you gain
Okay.
big chunks, so you can train all at once. You don't have to go back to the trainer if you don't have Dr. O in your inventory. And I guess the other advantage, even if ignoring that, is that because you're not over leveling the content, you're actually probably at or even below level a little bit. The mobs will be worth a lot more. So, yeah.
Maybe.
Probably would work better if you're doing it on a non-stealth class, because on a stealth class I find that I skip an awful lot of mobs.
Indeed. Yes.
You can just burn through those class
Yep,
missions.
sneak around. Yep.
But yeah, if you're fighting a lot, it should work. It should work out. Interesting idea. Okay. Your turn, Tio.
Our second and last tip this week is from Jagged Fell of the Jedi Covenant server. And he says he's a long-time listener, and this is a tip for you cybertech and artificers out there. If you are tired of spending millions of credits on mats, he discovered a way to learn a lot of lower-level armoring mods and enhancements cheaply using basic comms. He discovered that the prototype, the blue one, armoring mods and enhancements that you can purchase from the vendors on Fleet for basic comms can be reverse engineered for a chance to learn the purple version, the artifact version. There are some caveats to this. Not all of the items available like this will be reverse engineerable. One, the item must be craftable, as in you could have bought the green schematic and reverse engineered it all the way up to purple. And two, you must not already know the blue schematic of the item that you purchased from the vendor.
Interesting.
So, but short of that, it's an amazingly cheap way to learn purple level schematics up to level 53 versions. So, in essence, you just buy the blue versions of the mods from the vendor and reverse engineer them. And it sounds like you don't even need the green version to be able to do it. Huh.
Very
I
clever.
wonder if you learn the green and blue automatically as a result
I
of
don't
that.
think so.
You wouldn't have thought so, no. But
I would doubt it. Just the times that I've seen myself gain ones this way, I don't remember gaining any
yeah, probably not.
lower level ones.
Sounds like a bit of a glitch. I wonder if they intended this, but whatever. If it works,
It's at this point in the game, it's probably
it really doesn't.
not much of an exploit. All right, by random allotment, the winner is Jagged Phil. Congratulations, you're the winner of an M8 3R Droid pet code or Tonfon pet code, your choice, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Tuesday. That will bring us to the Holo feed. Tio?
Right. The only real news this week is Game Update 3.3. Now, that was intended to be deployed during a 12-hour maintenance on Tuesday, but we found out a few hours before the servers were meant to go down that they had delayed. Now, it was for an unknown period of time, but as all of you know who are watching this or listening to this, they was only delayed for 24 hours, though they did extend the maintenance to 13 hours. So, yeah, it was a monster. Presumably, they're doing all kinds of back-end stuff in preparation for coffee.
Yeah.
That's Knights of the Fallen Empire. Now, there were a few minor things with this. Bounty Contract Week didn't start until 3.3 went live, so it's only actually from time of recording, the servers have only been up for a few hours. So Bounty Contract Week is effectively just a day shorter than it would have been otherwise. It will finish at the normal time next week on Tuesday. The Outer Rim Explorers Pack did go live at the on Tuesday, when the expansion, when the game update should have dropped, and the next Conquest will also start on time. So that all went as per usual. And Season 5, you got an extra day because of ranked PvP. It didn't actually end until 3.3 went live. So Season 6 is now here. Season 5 is now over. More on that later.
Wow.
So we got an introductory post to the game update, which it has a name, Grand Togruta Celebration. I'm not sure how much imagination went into that one, but anyway,
They tried.
yeah, well, it could have been something Yavin 4-ish with the Stronghold, because the only things that we have in here, as we talked about last week, and we are not going to go through all this in detail, of course, because we've already covered it, the Yavin 4 Stronghold is here. You can pick it up yourself by going to your respective faction's fleet. The little console thing to actually do the purchase is next to, it's sort of in the back, next to either Coruscant or Dromund Cast, depending on your faction. It will cost you 2.5 million credits or 2,500 cartel coins to unlock. And as mentioned previously, you can only have 4 active at a time, 4 strongholds active at a time, so you will have to deactivate one. And when I tried it, it seems you can't even see what the price is until you have a free stronghold slot by deactivating one if you have all 4.
Okay.
So anyway, that's all there.
Sorry, Coruscant.
Yeah, well, it's cheap enough to buy again if you need to, though if you've unlocked all the rooms, that doesn't end up cheap.
Oh.
Anyway,
Telling me.
yeah.
I must
So,
I must have spent about 5 million just unlocking, I don't know, about 5 extensions in the Stronghold, and that's it. And there's still more I've got to buy.
Well, unless you get rid of it and get Yavin 4.
I meant the M4. Sorry.
All right. Now, this introductory blog post was by Toby McCall of the Cartel Market Design Team, which was a little disturbing to me, but as he says in the actual blog post, the Cartel Market Design Team was effectively the one responsible for the Stronghold. So
I guess
this
that
is all
makes
kind
sense.
of weird. Yeah, I suppose they do provide most of the decorations, which you can purchase on the Cartel Market. So anyway, he just gives us the intro to it. 16 centerpiece hooks, 2 starship hooks, more than any other Stronghold, and hundreds of hooks. Can't recall how many exactly.
I don't remember from the video they did, but did it look like if you just do the basic opening one that you get a pretty good size chunk of it? It seemed like you would.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what they said about that, if anything.
Yeah, anyway, I'm sure people know.
Yeah.
I won't say
I also want to find out about that waterfall thing, you know?
Yeah.
I've sort of had a look. It's not really behind the waterfall. It's like further back in the Stronghold. There's like a secret cave, but I won't say what's in there. It's just... Oh, I haven't properly checked the waterfall, but I had like a brief look, and there wasn't really anything there. It was just like the secret cave I found in like the far back of the Stronghold. So
Okay.
that's all I found.
I saw something on Twitter. I won't spoil anything because I'm actually looking forward to this. I just hope I have enough credits.
Yeah.
Me too, actually. Or cartel coins. Oh, that'd be hard.
Now,
Really hard.
if you close off one of your other strongholds and then like reopen it later, will it remember all the decorations you had up on it, or does it like put those back in inventory?
Yes.
It puts
They
them
will
back in
get
inventory.
flushed. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's as if
In
you've
some
got
ways-
it for the first time.
Yeah. Like at least it gets that all that available to your new stronghold, I suppose.
Exactly. Let's see. All right, he also talked about Gruder, of course, new playable race, 600 cartel coins, which I don't believe we'd confirmed previously, same as the Cathar.
Okay.
And there's lots of options for character customization, though not as many as I quite expected. Ari bought it and has been playing around with it. She also got the Yavin 4 Stronghold, which is huge, and the intro cinematic is kind of cool as well.
All right.
And apparently you get to enjoy it every time you visit, and that's a bug, but oh well.
Oh, well, you can spacebar through those, though.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like them. Oh, they're quite visual.
Actually-
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I like those introductions. I think they're kind of cool, and I actually wouldn't mind having those on. Maybe not for my main one where I have all my GTN and stuff set up, but anytime I go to the other ones, I'm okay with seeing the intro.
And finally, class changes. Now, we certainly won't go through these in detail this week at least, because I'd like to try them out before talking about them, particularly the Sage healer changes. So just to summarize, and this is in Toby McCall's own words, specifically, we gave Sage and Sork healers the ability to burst heal, increase the mobility of operative and scoundrel healers, and improve the overall healing capabilities of mercenaries and commando healers. Yeah. So anyway, healers enjoy.
Healer love.
And of course, there are the ranked and other PvP changes, which we'll talk about in a bit. So let's quickly run through it. Season 6 has begun, as we already knew. Togruta. Talked about that already. Now, there are a few bugs, of course. Nothing too bad so far. Yavin 4 Stronghold, its planetary chat is not... Well, it's not attached to Yavin 4's zone chat. Instead, it's space. So, I guess you'll be able to talk to anyone in their starships. Or if that's how it works. But anyway, yeah, that is a bug, and they will look at fixing it, though some people are saying it's actually kind of nice not to be able to see the planet chat. Though you are on Yavin 4, so whatever. Oh yeah, Bounty Contract Week is back, as mentioned previously, for a week.
Right.
Well, 6 days, not 7. They did a few minor fixes. Now, the hook count for the Tatooine Stronghold has actually been raised. We talked about that. It was on the PTS. And they finally settled on 900 hooks. So prior to 3.3, it was 500 hooks for Tatooine. Now it is 900 hooks maximum. So spray those decos if you want to get the conquest bonus. Because the percentage is going to have dropped.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yep. Now, something that Police mentioned in chat just before we started recording is that they have changed the location. When you exit from your stronghold now to the fleet, instead of ending up at the shuttle from Coruscant or Dromancast, you actually end up in the emergency fleet pass location.
Nice.
And
that's a much better location.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get right on your mount. You don't have to go to an elevator and click on it. All that good stuff.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
So that change is win. There's no mention of it in the patch notes, but that's probably the best change in this entire update, in my personal opinion.
Quality of life changes are sometimes the best.
Exactly. Let's see.
Like, quality of life, like, I've noticed, like, it took me a while, but now that I've gotten used to it, I just run forward and mount up without even thinking about it anymore, and it's so nice.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
It's just how I play the game now.
Yeah, that was an excellent change in my opinion, and this one is equal.
Yeah. And totally worth the credits.
Now, Fiona mentioned...
more story when you got this?
What's that,
Well,
Charlie?
Who needs more story when you got some quality of life changes?
Yeah, who needs
That's right.
content? No, we'll get that soon enough, remember? Story. Okay, so a few other things. Galactic Diversity Bundle, which you can buy on the Qatar market, now includes the Togruta, of course.
Right.
Now, all of the class changes, Fiona reminds everyone in chat that Sages and Sorks will have to learn this new ability called, for Sages, Vindicate. And for Sorks, it's called Consuming Darkness. That's that new ability to restore force in that new odd way, which I'm going to have to really practice, because my Sage healer and Sork healer, well, I'm used to the old way, and I'm going to have to learn the new way, but that's always fun, of course. I haven't healed for a while, so I've probably forgotten anyway.
I've yet to do the stage, or I've yet to do that class, and I was thinking of doing a healer. Is it a viable healer?
Very much so. Well, actually, I say that,
Yeah.
but it was.
Oh.
Now it should be as well, if anything better, but, well, I guess we'll see. Yeah, no, I've certainly preferred it before, and it should probably be mostly the same.
Yeah, Sage Sorcerer has never been completely out of favor.
No.
Great.
Okay, now, the Warzone changes. So again, we've talked about those previously. They've got the new reward model for Season 6, where they're awarding their season-specific commendations. These new commendations have a limit of 1 million, so good luck maxing that out.
Right.
And they can specifically be used to reward highly prized rank rewards after the season ends. So there'll be a vendor after the end of season 6 where you can actually spend these comms. Now, apparently, you no longer get PvP comms for doing ranked PvP. So remember, they have removed ranked PvP comms from the game completely, and instead you get these comms. And
then they reduce the price of all the gear.
Oh, yeah, that is the other big change that is here. So in theory, with not very many Warzone comms at all, you'll be able to get yourself into the second higher tier PvP gear for the remaining.
Okay, that was actually
coffee.
That was actually something that PvPers wanted, was for people not to go into ranked games to get gear. And that's how it is now. Okay, good. Good.
The question in my mind was, are they going to keep this up in terms of when we go into coffee and they have there'll probably presumably be 2 new tiers of PvP gear with level 65.
Yeah.
Are they going to keep the prices the same? I assume they're not going to bring ranked PvP comms back, so the answer must almost certainly be yes.
I would say yes. Yeah.
Have they confirmed that they're going to be bringing actual new tiers of gear in?
Sort of indirectly. They said that the expansion has all the stuff you would expect from a blah blah RPG, blah blah, new gear, yada yada. So yes. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
And I would assume that the PvP gear price lowering is going to remain. The only reason I could think of that they might revert it is if there's some weird side effect of this that they weren't anticipating that ends up throwing everything off. But I don't see that happening. I think they're just going to keep it lower so that people can gear up their ults. That was the whole point anyway.
Exactly. Now, the medals for Warzone arenas, they have adjusted them just so you need less kills to actually get the medals, because obviously in arenas they're a lot quicker, and so chances of getting sufficient number of kills is a lot harder. So it's now easier to get medals in arenas, not war zones. Or so you would have thought. Certainly that was their intention, but it seems there is a bug where people are reporting that this change has somehow slipped into 8v8 war zones as well as the arenas. So, oops. And it sounds like the protect the medal.
Better that it be accidentally a little too easy than too hard. So, they'll fix it.
Yeah. But anyway, right now, if you're doing 8v8, you'll probably accumulate medals a lot quicker than you probably would have expected.
Yeah, unless you're getting stomped, though, you usually get your 8 medals anyway, so that's all good. I'm glad that they improved the arena ones. It really did feel like it was harder to get the medals in that, especially if you were getting beaten, which happens a lot. I mean, all it really takes is 1 or 2 really good players on the other team, and all of a sudden 1 or 2 of your guys is dead, and then all of you are dead. That's kind of how. That's how most arenas go. So,
plus arena matches go so quickly, you barely have a chance to accumulate anything anyway.
Exactly.
Now, Warzone experience and credits have been increased by 100% across the board. That's leveling for experience, of course, and credits. Now, again, that was the intention, but it turns out that it seems the credit rewards have not been doubled. So if you're playing and expecting to make a lot of credits, it sounds like that is bugged. XP does appear to have doubled from what I was reading in the threads on the forums, but yeah, there is a problem with comms. Now, there is a problem with credits. However, comms were not intended to be doubled, so you should get roughly the same number of Warzone accommodations that you got previously by doing Warzones. And remember, no ranked PvP comms anymore, so they're just no longer a thing at all.
Yep.
However, they have adjusted the rewards for the weekly missions, so you get more Warzone comms in lieu of the ranked PvP comms, which are no longer there.
Good.
But 100 has been increased to 150 Warzone comms for the daily, 300 to 400 for the weekly. So not really a one-for-one increase, but who cares? Because the gear is so damn cheap, it really doesn't matter. Let's see. And remember, you can now transfer PvP combinations between your characters, or even just hold on to them yourself. So why would you need to, given the cap has been raised to a whole hot 200,000, and you can move them in 100, 500, and 1,000 Warzone chunks between your characters. You purchase a legacy bound option item off the vendor, and then just send it in your legacy bank or mail to your alts and just cash them in.
It's nice.
Fantastic. Oh, and we mentioned ranked PvP combinations have been removed from the game, and they've been automatically converted to Warzone comms at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you were buying them at the 3-to-1, well, it's the same ratio you could have traded them back previously, 1-for-1. But they are gone, presumably forever. Now, just confirming that, as we've said previously, the AoE changed to Warzone objectives. That is, AoE, they changed it so it couldn't interrupt caps, and they reverted it. So as per pre 3.3, you can still interrupt caps using Force Storm or whatever.
Right.
So it's as it was. Now there were some issues with the Season 5 Nexu mount reward was not sent. That was the gold tier reward from Season 5. The Nexu mount didn't go out, so they're going to work on that. The top 96 titles will be sent in the next couple of days. That's not a bug, it's just how the process works. And for Season 6, they have already announced the various tiers, the bronze, silver, and gold in the top 96, and what exactly they're going to be rewarding. It's more a summary of what they're going to be rewarding and how many tokens you will get for each of the tiers. So this is the first time we've seen this. And they have actually listed the vendor rewards as well and how many of the tokens they will cost. So this is kind of cool. And this is right at the beginning of the season, which we know is going to last exactly 13 weeks because it will end with Coffee's release. So I'll link to that. So interesting, for the bronze tier, you get 5,400 Season 6 tokens.
Okay.
And then when you look at what you can get from the vendor, let's see. Yep, like the actual vehicle mount, the Predacious. I don't know what that word means. Is that a word? Predacious.
It's almost a word, I think.
Yeah.
Predacious.
Sounds like it kind of should be a word. Oh,
Yeah.
of an animal, predatory. So if something is predacious, if it's predatory. Thank you, Google.
You're a predator. Yeah.
Predacious. Jesus Christ. All right, so Predacious vehicle mount is 48,000.
Yeah, I agree. Predatory would have been a lot simpler.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool. So vehicle mount, 48,000 of the Season 6 tokens. So you, as well as getting the tokens for completing at the end, for reaching the certain tier, you will also get them as you play. So in theory, you could play a whole lot, earn a whole lot of Season 6 tokens just by doing ranked PvP, and it is only ranked PvP that you will get the tokens.
Right.
But never get out of the bronze tier and actually be able to buy yourself something. Though from what they reported previously, you would have to play a lot of ranked PvP to still suck and yet earn enough tokens to actually buy the higher vendor rewards. It's an interesting idea, an interesting system. The whole idea is to incentivize players to actually play more, to earn more comms, because the more comms the more tokens you get, the more stuff you can buy. Because there is no limit. You could actually buy multiple of the mounts for your ults or whatever. And they have confirmed that all of these rewards are legacy bound, except for the top 96 stuff. But everything else, all the stuff you can get from the vendor, is all legacy bound.
Okay.
So you can send them to all your characters. So, yeah. I mean, this is probably the best way they could have done this. So, definitely an improvement. And yes, they are looking into rewarding. Well, the player was complaining that since they didn't get regular Warzone cons from doing ranked PvP, they had no way of actually buying med packs and stuff. So, well, that is a bit of a problem. They are thinking you may be able to trade them back into Warzone comms, your Season 6 tokens, at a 1-to-1 ratio, but that would kind of suck, because that means you couldn't be able to save them up and purchase the actual rewards. So, maybe they will start rewarding Warzone comms as well. That would actually probably be the best option. Someone asked, why don't you give unique rewards for group? It's still, remember, it's all the same rewards in effect for the two tiers for both ranked for both group and solo. It's effectively the same stuff now. And someone's asking why don't they do unique rewards, and well, they don't want to make it so that people feel like they must do group PvP so to get the rewards. So solo players, if you just want to YOLO it up, you can still do that as a viable way of getting the rewards.
Okay.
Solo queue being what it is, somehow I don't think it's going to get any better. Call me cynical, but well, we'll see. And finally, there was a post about nerfing healers in PvP. Effectively, if you have 2 or 3 healers in the game, in the match, on either side, you tend never to get any kills because they're keeping everyone alive. Well, particularly Republic side, because they always have healers. It's always a pain, and the Empire never does, or rarely does. Don't know why that is. It's kind of weird, but it's just been the way it has been, at least on the Harbinger when I've been doing PvP. Okay. So they're going to look at that, because it does seem there is a higher healer population than one would expect. They saw this on the PTS, but they thought that was because of people going on to test out
all the healer changes, yeah.
The healer changes, yeah, but maybe there is something. And they can adjust the buff that you get when you do PvP, or debuff, called trauma, which has certain effects. So they can always change that so healing is somewhat less effective in PvP and only PvP. So PvE will be untouched, but they can tweak it a bit for PvP if that does prove to be a problem. Now, a couple of other minor things. The mission Ziost or Zoist, called Monolithic, where you locate the failsafe console, it's bugged. Apparently you can't continue it. You get some red text when you try it. So if that happens to you, could be that's why. So just hang tight on that one. There's a new decoration. Charlie, you might have got this one in the Outer Rims Explorers pack.
Yeah, I did. And when I was looking at it, I looked at it and I thought something did seem off. I couldn't pinpoint what it was, but something did seem off. But obviously now I know what it is now. So
the decoration is the bounty holding cell, and what it's missing is its red rage shield. It's not active unless you interact with it. Then it becomes active for 30 seconds and then stops. So what people are suggesting was maybe make it so when you interact with it, it turns off the rage shield or something. Yeah, because it looks a lot better with it.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, if you're going to put an NPC in there, it doesn't make any sense for it not to be ray shielded all the time.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, that's the news. I guess we really did think they'd be trickling out news a little more than they have been, but I guess their focus this week at least has been on Game Update 3.3. So now there's nothing story-wise between us and Coffee since, I guess we're all pretty much doubting there's going to be a 3.4 at this point. So
it's looking less likely.
Yeah,
it's still a long time though.
It is.
I really hope that after Coffee they stop doing this.
Though, as Alex mentioned at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, which is coming up pretty quick actually, early August, they'll be doing you said it was the in-game trailer, the first one.
Shows the in-game footage, so not a blur or, not game, but cinematic.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go to a bit of community stuff. Firstly, thanks to our latest Utini patron, Kat Yabara.
Thank you, Kat.
Yeah, thank you very much. $5 patron. I'm really going to have to come up with a $5 tier reward. And yes, I think next week we'll talk about exactly what our next tier rewards are going to be, though I think I will. Last week I mentioned I committed to putting all our tips in the week onto the website for our patrons and eventually everyone, so I'll probably end up doing that.
Okay.
Anyway. Suki, our guildmate, is organising runs, and he sent us an email summarising how their last ops run went. He said it was a good session. They had at one point 12 or 13 players. They did a 16-man explosive conflict story mode as a warm-up. They moved on to 16-man Eternity Vault hard mode. Of course, you can do that with a lot less than 16, at least for now. And Coffee, good luck with that, since it's all been scaled up to level 65.
Fair enough.
Yep. But anyway, for now, you can. So they did. And the guildies, our guildmates, were Suki on his tank, Suderon, that's his brother, main heals and off DPS, really the other way round. because don't really need that much healing, let's be honest. Darklighter and Fiona, Princess Fiona, Fee, Kikatis, that's Dekion, and Kwa, DPS, and they plugged in a bunch of people. The run went from around 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Aussie time on Sunday, which was Saturday evening, and they're going to be trying to do this on a regular basis. So Saturday evening US time drop in, you might be able to, or Sunday morning our time. Overall, it was a good pace with a lot of achievements popping for the team. The drops included the tank deco and statue for the final boss in Eternity Vault. Very cool.
Very nice.
And I will have a link in the show notes for exactly when their next post will be. Now, something I came across at random was a role player by the name of Ruthless FX. Uses 3D printing to produce the most amazing props for his role-playing, like dressing up. And he has the one that the article was talking about was Sith Lord Calig's 3D printed helmet.
That is cool.
Helmet,
That
yeah.
is amazing.
It's one of the best pieces of class story gear, and it's on the Inquisitor, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, the Inquisitor
Yep.
story, and it's just it's awesome looking. And this 3D printed one is note perfect. It is amazing. That is so cool.
See, I really want to get my hands on a 3D printer because I want to know. I want to actually see something being 3D printed because I'm just fascinated by it. Seriously, I look at it. I'm thinking, how does it make that like so perfectly?
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, they do tweak it afterwards, after they've done the 3D printing, and they put something on it to give it that metallic look, because if you just come out, it's just usually plastic, white plastic or something, especially for the home one.
I've actually 3D printed something before. It was for a school project. I had to make a knife, and so when it took 9 hours for the whole thing.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not fast.
And the knife's only like this tall there, and it took 9 hours to print, and it's all red, and it was very rough. It's not that great of a 3D printer, but it was very rough. So it's incredible.
It's definitely a thing. My son, who is now 14, he even a few years back, he was already there was a computer lab that had a 3D printer, and then he was learning how to do 3D printing and what that was all about. He made like a simple thing. It was simple things again, drawer pulls and stuff like that.
This stuff is definitely the future. You can certainly get the home 3D printers and like the ones at the schools, but they tend to be a bit crap. I imagine in the future there will be places, and there are now, but they'll be cheaper, where you can actually send off your 3D designs, your 3D models, and have them printed in whatever material you want.
That's cool.
So,
Just one
yeah.
I want a statue of my character.
Here's a reason to learn 3D modeling, because anything you can imagine, and if you look at the guy's page, this is Ruthless FX on Facebook, he's got this latest one is a blaster pistol that he did. It's just amazing. So lightsaber hilts, whatever, and there are places out there that do lightsaber hilts that are 3D printed as well. Anything you can imagine. So
I tried to make my knife look like a lightsaber. It didn't go so well. Very rough.
yeah, but yeah, it's only the
Things
beginning.
that are 3D printed, do they break easily, or are they just pretty tough?
Well, the way it works is it makes like a mesh to hold it all together.
Yeah.
But there's a platform made so that because it 3D printed like top to bottom, like that. And there was a base, and I just snapped it off, and I was like, oh, that was easy. But the actual mesh itself is hard to break. But I'm sure if you got a real knife and cut my knife, it would probably break.
Yeah.
Right.
It all depends on the material used and the plastic. Yeah, that if you
Maybe a Ninja Flex, whatever.
on YouTube there are plenty of examples where I actually show the process sped up, so you can actually see how it actually prints it. Yeah, if it was just a hollow shell, it would just break really easily. But yeah, the 3D modeling programs actually work out the internal framework so that when it prints it up, you actually get this rigidity to it.
That is
structural integrity, if you like. Anyway, so yeah, very cool. I'll link to all that, of course. Now, finally, in community news, let's just talk about the answer, the solution to Giant Gina, or Patchworks, Cast Stronghold Mystery. where, if you remember, we had the pictures where he somehow got outside. So anyway, we had a couple of answers. The first was from Kuze, and he said the Giant Gina used clever deco placement and maybe a trooper knock-up. That seemed the most plausible way, after trying all the usual platforming tricks, and included full zoning into a PvP match, which he used. Yeah. Anyway, so close, certainly on the right track. We also had an email from Email Suge of the Prophecy of the Five server. He got it first. He didn't get the answer, and I sent it to Giant Gina, and he said it was, on the right track, but he will get the prize because we didn't get a better solution. So anyway, he said his first thought that it's possible to get certain NPC decorations to be on the other side of the glass. I was able to do this, but it's clearly a player character outside the window. That was a pixie that we saw in the pictures. So we looked outside, and that was actually a player character, as Giant Gina will explain when we get to that. He said next thought was clever parkour around ledges. You can get out certain windows, but not the one in the picture. So I don't believe parkour to be the solution. He is correct.
I went my thoughts when I tried this was exactly along these lines. First, try the parkour, and then come along with the what you come up with next. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then Email Suge says, after playing around with a few things, he's got a plausible theory. I believe it is possible to get to the roof by being blown up by a hot potato PvP decoration. And I had to look up what the hot potato was, but anyway. Although I haven't been able to do it yet, I don't have a hot potato. Blowing yourself upwards from the ground level probably won't do it, but there are any number of decorations that you can put on the walls and stand on. If you've got halfway up using a deco staircase and aim yourself correctly, you should be able to get on the roof. Alternatively, if you combine a potato with a force push from a friend, that might be enough height and the right angle. From the roof, drop down carefully to the ledge in the first pictures to get the ladies shivering out of the window. So yes, almost, but not quite. So anyway, here's the solution. I'll include the extra pictures that Giant Gina provided. And what he did was, he said, well, I ran Nightmare Explosive Conflict shortly after Galactic Strongholds came out and ended up winning the centerpiece hook decoration that drops off Kephis. I soon applied it to my Dromancast Stronghold and soon after realized that it could be climbed upon. My guilders and I were messing about on it when I got the idea that the tip of the barrel was quite high and then the roof appeared to be nearly within knockback range. To get this to work, the barrel must be pointed directly at the center of the roof, and the deco must be moved as close to the roof as the hook allows. We tried a number of different combinations to try to get up there. I think what ended up working was a Juggernaut force push, while my character was nearly at the apex of a jump during a duel on the tip of the barrel, and I can imagine that took a lot of screwing around. After that, they used Sork pulls to get everyone else up there. So get a Sork up the top, and then they can pull up other people. The mysterious pixie was actually my guildie Stippling on an alt. He dropped down the side to get on the window ledge. Mystery solved. Beautiful views atop Castle's Galactic Stronghold. You get a full 360-degree view. I suggest everyone with this deco use it to access their Cast Stronghold roof.
That is
so
cool.
Thank you, Giant Gina. That was the whole problem itself was excellent, and what a glorious solution that was. But wow, well done, guys.
That took a lot.
Yeah.
Oh no, let's do it one more time. Come on, one more time. Oh no, damn.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so in lieu of content, players make their own fun.
That's right.
Anyway.
Gina's saying in chat, I should have mentioned that I got up there 2 weeks after Galactic Stronghold dropped. That would have gotten people off of the Hutball hot potato tip.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's the news.
All right. That'll bring us to the forced feedback where we read out your tweets and emails. In chat room, if you have any questions to ask, we'll gather them now to answer once we're done with the feedback. Your average nerdy gamer said, in SWTOR, why can't there be a Jawa race so you can be the ultimate Jawa Jedi? That would be fun. I did answer back. I said, yeah, we know it won't happen because it would screw up all the cutscenes, basically. We know that they're not designed for off-sized characters.
And for ones that don't speak basic, yes.
Yeah. Yep, but it would be fun. And if we could, then I would try to make mine as close to Adam Schumpert's pictures as possible. So that would be fun.
Indeed.
All right. Yeah. And let's see, Chinook and also Darksplat wrote, "So, SWTOR people, did you see Steam has an updated version of KOTOR 2, high-res support and extras?"
Now, I'll link to the article. This was on Kotaku, I think. Was it The Verge? Oh, on Kotaku. And it's now available on Steam for... It was always PC and Mac, and Knights of the Old Republic, the original, was PC and Mac. But this one is now also available on Linux, Steam OS.
Nice.
So that's very cool. And what they've done to Knights of the Old Republic 2 is 37 achievements can be earned through gameplay. Now you can actually save to the Steam cloud rather than to your hard drive.
Thank you.
Native widescreen resolution support. Now that is big. Resolution support up to 4K and 5K. Damn. And support for controllers.
A bit odd with the graphics which KOTOR has, but okay.
Yeah. They support controllers, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, along with several others. And they support the Steam Workshop. And this is specifically important, or especially important, because the restored content mod, which I've talked about previously, has actually been... They work with those guys to make sure that particular mod was available, ready to go. So anyway, you can purchase KOTOR 2 now off Steam. You'll get all of these enhancements, and they added the 4 speed effects option in the menu, whatever that does. Oh, I assume when you force speed, you actually... Yeah. Anyway, and you'll be able to get the restored content mod via the Steam Workshop, so it's even easier rather than having to download it and install it separately. So, fantastic! I didn't actually check the price.
Do we know who it was who actually updated it? Or was it Obsidian, or was it BioWare, or who?
It was a team.
It was
Go ahead.
Lucas. I know LucasArts had a great deal in it. I know they did. They did something. They had hard.
Well, they sort of officially said that they didn't mind that it was being done. All of the content was actually in the original game, in the asset files, and they effectively unlocked it and fixed a whole ton of bugs. The game, KOTOR 2, was apparently released as a buggy, incomplete mess. And so these guys, by restoring the content, and it was just a group of people, just volunteers doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do it for KOTOR 1 as well. That'd be great.
KOTOR 1 was effectively complete. There wasn't a whole lot of hidden stuff in it. So
It still could do with a few updates. Like it doesn't support widescreen unless you have a mod, so that'd be great. Achievements would be great as well. I don't know if it has controller support, but cloud save for KOTOR 1, please, because the amount of times I end up just the save sometimes just corrupts a couple of times and I'm having to resave.
Exactly. And it is actually on special right now, 25% off. So at least for us in Australia, and Steam prices do tend to be different no matter which store you look at, it's normally $10 currently on special for $7.50 US on your own store. Who knows? So yeah, in Australia it's just more expensive just because, and it's still in US dollars.
Right.
Makes no sense.
The government there hates gamers. We've learned.
Alrighty, JB wrote, regarding the double-click tip on crew skills in 2.14, you can also send your companions away with a single right-click, 100% efficiency gain.
There you go. One less click.
Yep. Alroon wrote, you can drag this crew skill icons in the crew skill window onto your quick bar. It speeds up your crafting by a click or two. Hashtag it adds up. Speaking of which, instead of double-clicking, and he also says you can right-click once. Your mouse buttons will thank you. Ari wrote in, to Musco, will the story-heavy hard mode flashpoints have their cutscenes removed for coffee? It would be nice to avoid spacebar spam when doing hard modes.
So this is something we were thinking about. Given that they're bringing all the old hard modes back to life, that will include like the SLS, which, as we all may remember if you've been playing in the old days, there's a lot of cutscenes in that one, and that's fine for doing it for the story. Like there's going to be the solo mode for the SLS, so you can certainly just do it yourself at whatever level, and it'll all be level appropriate.
Yep.
But when you're doing it as a hard mode, spacebar spam is... Imagine if you could disable the cutscene some, but
Oh, T, are you cutting out?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it
looks
was
like
me.
how is it now?
Well, slightly better. I can hear you now, but you've grained out. But that's okay as long as we can hear you.
Yeah, my own recording is obviously should be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like we had a bandwidth glitch. Damn
Okay.
it!
I thought it was
Fiber.
mine.
No. It was, yeah, you guys went a bit weird for me as well. All right, so
Yeah, and it's weird. The visuals are off now. You're not synced up with your voice anymore. Hopefully that'll
Excellent.
correct itself.
oh,
Yeah,
have
you're
nothing
off
more
by
to
about
say on
4
that.
seconds.
Okay.
Alrighty. We'll continue then. Madmar wrote 1,008 accounts on this hashtag SWTOR family list. When I sent out my first tweet, never thought I'd get to follow back this many. Congratulations to Madmar.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Over 1,000 SWTOR family folks.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely on that. I was pretty early on that. One of the
Indeed.
first-ish.
Yeah. No, it's a great initiative.
Yeah, it really is. So smart. Darklighter wrote, "You're not badass until you only travel by standing up on a swoop." Yeah.
Yeah, one of those bugs where you get on the speeder and you're still standing up, and it's kind of cool.
Happens once in a while, yeah. I've seen it once or twice on my characters. Not often. Let's see. It's a funny picture, though. And Sorry wrote, "Don't panic. I really appreciate the honesty and balanced tone you've taken thus far in discussing the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion and the potentially declining commitment to pure MMO gameplay from BioWare. You balance curious optimism with cautious skepticism. You aren't overly dramatic with the end is nigh rhetoric that I encounter in other SWTOR circles." Thank you, and Sorry. That is kind of what we go for, and also just naturally what we gravitate towards.
Exactly.
So it's not hard for us to do that. Content for newbies. A few weeks back, you read my iTunes review, in which I expressed desire to aim part of the show at newbies and those of us who have been playing for a while but are not yet masters of things like operations, rotations, parsing, whatever piece set bonuses, and so on. Still hope this is something you'll consider. Selfishly, I'm really interested, but I also think it'll be a great opportunity to help the returning and total newbie players who are probably coming in droves, especially as we get closer to December. Indeed. In fact, I have a lot of work yet to do on it, but I am working on something like this that will be sort of partly integrated in the show and partly probably streamed or put on YouTube. But yes, we are working on some content that will be aimed at folks who are new. Also, and by the way, and sorry, that your conversation did sort of kick that off for us. I mean, we kind of knew that we'd moved past it, and not talked about new player stuff for a long time, but that kind of brought it back to the forefront. So thank you. Alts and secondary mains in the guild. Do you have a rule or preference on alts or secondary mains joining the guild? My main on the Republic side is now an Utini, but I'd love to add my Imperial main and a couple of alts that I really play.
So
You're the guild master?
Indeed. So at one point we encouraged everyone to bring everyone in, but we've been dancing with that 500 character limit for so long now that
True.
we actually prefer only active players. We have created our Utini Outcasts and Utini, the other one on the other side, which I can't remember. It was something funny. Guilds as placeholders, so you can still be in an Utini guild, but for alts. But yeah, we're preferring just active players at the moment, or active characters you're currently playing right now. So if you've got a whole ton of alts that you leveled by 12 times XP, if you want to have them in a guild at all, put them in the other one.
Right. But if they're ones you actually play out in the world, then that's fine. All right. Ryan wrote, "Great cast. I think that BioWare's plan is to try and hook the story casuals that will lose interest with the monthly story content that you have to be subbed for. BioWare knows it won't keep people in the game, and so all they care about it is that monthly sub dollar."
It's a bold move by BioWare. I'd go as far as to say courageous. We'll see.
Yeah, they're bringing the sub back. It's crazy. Like I say, if it works, it will be amazing because, everyone will be subs, everyone can do war zones, everyone can do operations, all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
we'll see. All right.
The problem I have is I come up with a theory that, as I'm not someone who PvPs a lot or does ops a lot, raids a lot, that's the word I was looking for. I'm afraid I'll do something like raid logging, but story logging. I only log in for the story, then I'm done. Wait a month to come back. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm afraid of. But
That's
that
certainly
sounds
what happens in other games. It's got episodic content. You do the new bit and you piss off again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what happens with me when I'm doing my recording. I just record what I need to record, edit it, and don't play until I record again. It really is getting to that point, but obviously I still come on from time to time to do some decorating or whatever. But yeah, it's not really that good anymore. What am I doing with my life now?
The Officer Alt scam has spread to the Jedi Covenant as well. I had posted a link to the Reddit you shared on your last podcast in my guild's officer forums to make sure we were all aware of this scam. Last night, someone whispered one of our officers saying our GM had just invited them to the guild and made them an officer 2 weeks ago. Somehow 7 of their alts had been removed and they wanted them brought back in. As our officer questioned them, they said the rank wasn't important, they just wanted the invites, and they referred to our GM as he when our GM is actually a she, and we'd never heard of any of the toon names before. When our officer called them out for attempting to scam us, he said he must have the wrong guild. I don't see how this would be possible. And it is a shame that this kind of behavior exists out there. Yeah, it's always it's ticklish when it gets like that.
All right, just pause for a sec. Is it Hangout messing up for you guys as well, or no?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just did
All right.
when Jill was talking then.
Yeah.
Okay, I
All
saw
right.
that in the chat. It would look not normal to me, but I was the one talking, so it was
Yeah.
hard for me to tell.
So yeah, obviously our own recordings should be fine. It looks like I thought the problem was at my end initially, but I'm thinking now that the Hangout is just a bit flaky today.
Okay, we're getting close
So-
to the end.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. It's fine.
Okay. All right, so let me get back to where I was. All right, next from Ash. I'm assuming that's the pronunciation. There's an extra H in there. I think your commentary on the community ops letter was well done. I've always liked that aspect of your show. Balanced approach. Thank you. Snave, the PvPer, wrote in, well, it's like I said before, a game launched with massive amounts of story and little endgame, and we know how that went.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That seems to be, yeah, well, yeah, I think that's more than anything else, that's the reason that they're doing all the gating, is because instead of just people burning through the story and then walking away, it's kind of impossible to burn through it because it won't all be released at launch. So, yeah. But still, point taken. Ash then wrote, for a player like me, a casual with 2 kids, this isn't a bad approach, but I think they need to put out more endgame MMO bits next year, otherwise, to Snave's point, people won't stick around. Other people will sub to replace revenue lost. The problem is that dedicated players write guides, run guilds, and so on. And boy, that's true. I will give BioWare credit for courage. It's a bold move to change the game this much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are taking a hell of a risk. So let us see how it plays out. But yeah, they cannot forget the MMO bits. You need repeatable content in an MMO. Story is not enough. Story.
Can't remember what they said at the campaign. I think they said like soon after
Yeah.
the first, what is it, season? I forget what they're called. After that, they're going to be definitely adding something. Good.
We have to wait until all 16 episodes are out for the first season.
I think that's what they said, or like in the middle of of the episodes being released, they'd probably add like a new map for PvP, or
Okay.
I don't know anything about operations or Flashpoint, so.
Right.
All right.
Wouldn't it just be great if they brought it back at the last second? Hey, we actually have got some PvP content and endgame content at full. Let's just Fallen Empire launch. Yay!
Yeah.
Unlikely, but
I know we said it was
Bet on
just
that.
about story, but yay! We got it for
Yeah.
you.
Ever the
Use 100
optimist.
volts. Yay! Oh, man.
It's a bit rushed, might be a bit broken, but yay!
All right. Elian D of the Epic Guild on the Shadowlands writes, "Hi guys, love the show, never miss an episode. Now I'm listening from the beginning and finding great info for use while leveling that I never knew. Thanks." And here goes. So, sharing some stuff. With all this talk about the changes coming to SWTOR and the fear of a shift away from endgame content such as operations and other large group content, world bosses, hard mode flashpoints, and so on, I thought I'd share a player perspective that may be common to more people than is generally vocalized. This may go a little long, so bear with me. First, some background for context. I never played WoW because at the time I was playing Star Wars Galaxies and just didn't have time for 2 MMOs. I was among the severely discontented when the new game enhancements came out, but still liked playing the game in general. I never made it past level 30, however, because I couldn't group with anyone for certain quests in the storyline. I basically spent the majority of my time as a solo player. That said, one of my fondest memories of the game was an impromptu raid where we killed a level 90 Sith. The player max level was 50 at the time. Wow. It was just a big group of random people who ganged up on this guy. Not all of us were officially grouped up, but we all still got XP for our hits, and we took him down, and it was awesome. My SWTOR background. I've been playing since early access and have been a sub, save for a few months since then. I originally purchased 3 CEs for myself and my sons to play together. We were all stoked. We had played Galaxies together occasionally, and they'd played WoW and other MMOs. We played the beta a bit, and during the open beta weekend, as well as during early access and from launch, until about level 25, where my sons dropped off due to other game interests, boredom with the game, and lack of time. I continued to play off and on solo and enjoyed it, but was also limited in my playtime due to lack of time. My SWTOR present. I did the /played on my characters, and the results are 62 days, 17 hours, 36 minutes, as of about a week ago. You could add up maybe 8 hours to that, as with 12 times XP I've been playing a lot lately, so I can get through the stories I've missed. This playtime is across 4 characters since early access, so I win for the lowest time played. I can count on one hand the number of operations that I've done, which only include 1 hard mode op. I can count on one hand the number of flashpoints I've done, with 3 being the ones that are now soloable with the Jesus droid. I can also count my heroics on one hand. I find grouping in the game somewhat difficult because the group finder really doesn't have enough options since I'm limited to things at my character level. I spend most of my time in-game questing on the storyline, crafting for conquest, playing the GTN, and decorating my strongholds, all solo pursuits.
So there's going to be a ton of stuff for him, obviously, with that latest announcement about operations of flashpoints.
And flashpoints especially, yep. BioWare business. As stated earlier, I've been subbing since early access and kept up my family subs because they do like to occasionally play the game. I even subbed my daughter when she got old enough and played with her a bit. I maintain her sub so she doesn't lose any benefits in case she ever decides to play with me again. I still can't get my hubby to play. Oh well. Yep. My wife tried it and didn't last, unfortunately. I would have loved it if we played together, but didn't happen. I purchase hypercrates and cartel coins regularly, definitely more than I should, and the 12 times XP has definitely caused me to play the game even more, and thus spending more. I rarely miss a double XP weekend. So am I the typical player? I don't know, but I can't imagine that the majority of people have huge amounts of time to spend playing, which makes it hard to be on an ops or raiding team consistently. I think that the majority of players are probably that dirty word, casual. But these dirty casuals have jobs, lives, and most importantly from a business perspective, money to spend on the game. And I think this may be why BioWare is making the shift, because they've looked at the majority of player habits, subscriber habits, metrics on what types of players spend the most on the game, and concluded that this is how to best appeal to those players. That said, I don't think they should abandon the multiplayer aspects of the game. I enjoy grouping and group content when I can, and I love the atmosphere created by seeing other people in-game while I'm playing. I would definitely lose interest if those things were gone. I have some trepidations about these changes, having lived through the Galaxies fiasco and loathing those changes. It was much more fun before those. My hope is that these changes will usher in a paradigm shift in the way MMOs are designed and bring along something innovative and compelling to the genre, resulting in even more people coming to know this wonderful form of entertainment. Our thoughts are appreciated.
Making
First of all,
the
well
stories-
written.
Yeah. Making the story aspect of it a kind of gateway drug into MMO stuff and MMO bits. I mean, that's fantastic. Bringing the RPG players, the people who play Dragon Age and Mass Effect, etc. And once they see what else you can do in an MMO, they may actually stick around. So, I mean, that side of it could actually be extremely positive. Of course, I sort of qualify as a dirty casual now.
Yeah, so do
About
I.
working again and everything else. So, yeah.
But the way that they're releasing the content in like chapters as well, I suppose that's kind of good because it's kind of going to be like a TV season, isn't it? So you sort of watch one episode, I don't know, you sort of wait a week and then you sort of do your thing, go to work and whatever, and then you just come back to the next one, and so forth and so forth.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one thing she points out that's interesting to me is that there must be a lot of folks like her out there who, have subscriptions or fully subscribed, therefore paying about what we are paying, yet doesn't necessarily spend a ton of time in game, and even more so for her kids who, apparently are only on very occasionally. So, yeah, there's definitely a sort of a weird money metric out there of like subscribers who are very lucrative because there's no upkeep on their end, and yet they are bringing in money. So
I think the money I spend
all
on
this content, that's just it. The story content is far more. I mean, when you look at it in the long term, far more expensive to produce.
Yeah.
By an order of magnitude, probably several orders of magnitude, than producing a single repeatable piece of content that people can chew on for a long time.
right.
Yeah, I think the money I give for my subscription is more just to support BioWare, and I guess like the cartel coins, because, like I've said before, I still play SWTOR, just not as much as I used to, like back at launch, and obviously I've still got a recurring subscription going on and on and on. So I guess it's just hoping this money I'm giving them, they're just putting to good use. Make the game better for me.
I guess we'll see. Now, as far as it being particularly game-changing, as with Star Wars Galaxies with their whatever you called it, I don't think it will be in terms of... It's clearly not. Not that style of change. Just not that major. But still, the whole... It's more the focus on story than really changing the fundamentals of the game.
Yeah, so... Will the Cop V expansion appeal to this sort of person who's clearly lucrative to BioWare?
Yes.
I would think so.
Yep.
I would think so.
I think he's right. They looked at their numbers, and it's clear what the majority of their players, the ones who are paying them, just like everyone else, what they're doing. And this is what they're doing. So,
right.
But maybe they're doing it just because they have no choice. With the lack of content in the past.
Yeah. That's. Were they only looking at subscribers, or did they also look at free to play and prefer it?
do you need to be subscribed to unlock this stuff? I get the impression it's more what they want. Well, yeah. They're looking at everyone who plays and encouraging them to subscribe.
Yeah, they've been pushing that a lot recently.
Yeah. They need regular income, and the thing with the subscription is people tend to forget about the fact that they have a subscription, and then it just keeps ticking away every month, and
That does happen.
being cynical, yep.
Yeah, that will happen just naturally with any any account sort of thing like that, where it's automatically set up to prepay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got a couple of questions from the chat room. First from Alleycat in the chat. Are any of you going to change your main for 4.0? And if so, why?
I am. I know I am.
Okay.
I'm going to change to my Jedi Knight.
Okay. And why?
I find Well, I've devoted all my time basically in this game to healing,
Hmm.
but I really find the combat fun. It's like hitting people with lightsabers.
Right.
That's
Yes.
basically it for me.
And if you go with a Jedi Knight, they can't. No one can ask you to heal for them.
That's true.
Yeah. How about you, Charlie?
Now I'll keep my Kranatoko Sith Warrior. I've just sort of grown attached to him. Plus, he's pretty much in every
He's in
single
your
video
videos.
on my YouTube channel, so I can't not have him as my main anymore. It's just
Right.
the way it is
He's
now.
the face of your YouTube channel. Yeah.
Pretty much, pretty much.
Tio, are you
Same.
gonna stick? Are you gonna stick with tanking for the next expansion?
Well, that is my definition of my main, which is currently my Guardian. My old
Mhm.
main was my Sentinel, and that's just my rating character, but I will no doubt play all of my characters eventually. So yeah. But as far as rating goes, I am actually really enjoying tanking, so I probably will stick with that, yes.
Oh, good. All right. Well, I'm planning on sticking with the gunslinger, but if for some reason we needed just to change around for the sake of the operation group, I would. I'm not that attached to it. Yeah, but I am still enjoying it, and I'm hoping because I normally do more PvP than I have this expansion because I've been doing so much leveling with the 12 times experience and blah 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 that the PvP has been really minimal for me. All of this expansion, I'd like to get back into trying it out at max level and then figuring out which one I want to do and kind of working into having a PvP main. But obviously, I obviously have no idea who that would be yet. So, yeah. Let's see, it's funny. I'll kind of automatically, like, whoever my operation character is, I consider that my main. It's funny how that works. It doesn't matter that I have a lot more time on my older operations character. That I'm finally only leveling now. She's not my main because she's not currently my operations character. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Then we have another question. How do you guys feel about BioWare reaching out to Lady Insanity to put out information about Comfy? Why didn't they include a SWTOR community podcast or streamer to put out the same information as well?
All right, so what's this about, you may ask? Now, Lady Insanity is a BioWare single-player YouTuber. She's got 57,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. She's reasonably popular. She has worked, it would appear, with BioWare Edmonton, who do Dragon Age and Mass Effect, etc. And she has released some videos about coffee and has promised to release more videos about coffee as time goes on. And she is clearly bringing coffee to non-SWTOR players, as in people who play BioWare games generally and would naturally be quite attached to or associate or lean towards playing the kind of direction, that SWTOR is going in with coffee. Now, the impression that you get is that she did have some sort of special access, but when you look into it further, she was there at E3. She was part of the behind closed doors presentation, which a number of journalistic outfits went to, and so we've heard about what they all saw. She didn't play herself. She just watched other people or the actual devs playing through I believe it was chapter 3, because they have mentioned they didn't show chapters 1 and 2. Right. And she's basically milking the hell out of that.
Okay.
Yep. So, in terms of her getting special access, it's unclear that she has anything more than anyone else who turned up to E3 and actually saw this stuff. But I could imagine that BioWare could do something special with her because she's got such a wide audience. The question is, what about the rest of us people in the SWTOR community at the moment, the podcast, whatever, who've been around since the beginning, and why not use us as a vehicle for disseminating information? Well, clearly we're just preaching to the choir, so if you want to bring in new people, you would actually go outside, and you can't blame BioWare for that.
Makes
Of
sense.
course, from our point of view, they should do both. I mean, why not?
Right.
Give us access to the information so we can disseminate it in our own way. And of course, if you do that, if you do have some sort of privileged information or a special release of whatever, your content does tend to get around anyway. It gets around the news cycle, other people will pick it up anyway. So it's not like you're really limited to your actual current audience. Other people will see or hear or read it anyway. So,
like,
yeah. Kind of like what?
It's definitely all about exposure, because it's like when I released my Just the Impressions video of Knights of the Fallen Empire. I mean, at the moment it's what? Hold on, I'm just going to get the view count. E3 was in June, middle of June, and ever since the trailer and all that came out, that video is now at 16,000 views. So it just goes to show that when you actually have some sort of information, even if it's just exclusive information, it really could just give you that bump you need to get you further into the community and get you that exposure. And it would be great if this is what BioWare are doing, if maybe they could just give us something that we can just be like, hey, we've got this information for you, and I don't know, give us that push we needed.
But as I mentioned, she's got a ton of subscribers, so it does make sense for them to do something special with her. And she's presumably riding her BioWare Edmonton contacts, because it sounds like she did work pretty closely with that team, and so it's fairly natural to sort of bridge that to BioWare Austin, who produced SWTOR. So, whatever, good on her. I mean, watch the stuff if you want. And she brings in more people to spend money on SWTOR, all for the better.
Hey, I've brought in people to spend on SWTOR too.
Thanks, Charlie. And
Yay.
we all do in our own way. So,
All right. Were there any other questions to you? I did not see any.
No, I did not either. And that second question was from Alley Cat.
Ah, also from Alley Cat. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is from Mevio's Music Alley. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you to Charlie and Alex.
Great show, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys, keep recording, please. I would like a Utini Rage from someone.
Oh, really?
So, Alex, you want to do it?
Oh, I don't know. Can't do any good voices that fit Star Wars.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just has to sound...
You're on the spot. Go on.
Utini Rage.
Good enough.
I like it.
Good enough. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We will be back next week with episode, well, either 216 or 217. Depends how fast I get the spoiler cast edited. Because if that is done, we'll publish that early next week, in between episodes. Regardless, we will be back next week. And I believe Ivalon will be guesting, our musical friend.
That was a great episode.
Oh,
Didn't like that.
yes, it was. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you next week. Stopping the broadcast.